Hey, thanks so much for having us all here, and thank you for being here with me. I've got Susan and Tilly Bridges, who wrote Finches for my upcoming anthology, Curiouser and Curiouser 2. David Avalone, who wrote The Looking Glass Girl, and Nick Mamatas, who wrote Utterly Covered in Buttercream, and Mr. Charles Baruch himself, who wrote Meg's Moldy Oldies. So I'm really excited to present all these stories, and I want to hear what you guys think of being able to be part of this project.
Hi, I'm Tilly Bridges. This is my wife, Susan.
Hello.
We write as part of a team. We are animation writers, comic writers, game writers, screenwriters. And we were really excited about this anthology for a chance to dip into prose because that's kind of new for us.
Yeah, we like to write a lot of sci-fi, big kind of stories, and this was like an opportunity to do something a little smaller, a little more intimate of a story, and I think that was really fun to dive into that.
Yeah, it's a soft, gentle little sci-fi story, and we were very excited to be part of this. Liz and I have been friends on Blue Sky for a couple years now, and she's amazing. So once the opportunity was there, I was like, let's give it a shot. Prose, it's scary, but hopefully we did okay.
I know, right? So many words. What?
It was so good, too. You guys are amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm Nick Mamatas. I'm an author and editor. I'm also an anthologist, so I have worked both sides of the anthology business. Here's 120 Murders, my latest anthology. But this anthology is the important anthology because it combines two of my favorite things, high literature and pornography. I've always been fascinated by publishing and by publishing companies like Olympia Press that did William S. Burroughs and William Beckett, Samuel Beckett, Henry Miller, that also did a side of porn. Actually, they did a lot more pornography than they did the classics that they put out. Or comic companies like Fantagraphics that also had its erotic imprint for years and years to keep the literature flowing. So a book that combines these two elements was really fascinating to me. And Alice in Wonderland is, of course, a huge playground in which to experiment and skin your knees and do all sorts of crazy things. So my story, Utterly Covered in Buttercream, focuses on that really important aspect, that big question that always comes up: who burned down Tom Petty's mansion? So read it and see.
Thank you.
So I usually put very little of myself in my stories. I usually write to understand other people. But Meg's Moldy Oldies is about going up to the Catskills as a kid, which was a normal part of my growing up, and the fact that all those hotels have been reclaimed by the wildlife now and have become part of nature in a lot of ways. The buildings are falling apart, and it's falling apart. And I decided to set a little piece of mushroom horror there. And because of how mushrooms are so central to Alice in Wonderland, it became a good part for the collection. I'm glad that Liz was going to take it in.
Hi, I'm David Avalone. Much like Susan and Tilly Bridges, I don't do that much prose, and I've gotten more into it these days. I actually am in these two anthologies, which came out last year or this year. I write comic books. I write role-playing games, TV, a little bit of animation for TV. And Liz is a good friend and a great collaborator and pal. And when she asked me to participate in this, I was very excited to write something. Jumping off from the title, I had an old sci-fi thing I was kicking around very long ago that was a pilot for a TV series that never went anywhere. But it had an element that involved, shall we say, going through the looking glass. That when I heard the title of this anthology, that encouraged me to revisit that story. And as much as it's a science fiction, short story, romance, it's also, like some of the other stuff I've written, an autobiographical story wearing a genre trench coat. And it's about the ways in which the world and love in particular are mysterious to you and unknown when you're a kid, and how some of that you start to understand later, and then there are mysteries you never really work out. So that's the story, and I'm looking forward to the book coming out and people getting a chance to read it.
Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you all being here. And each of your stories means a lot to me for a different reason. I love the places that you took this anthology that I wouldn't have been able to do on my own, and I couldn't in volume 1. And I really look forward to presenting, Curious and Curiouser 2 first as my solo project with my new publishing company, but also because it's my first collaboration, and it does combine high literature and porn, and also illustrated porn. But I'm really looking forward to these tales from beyond becoming part of my legacy, and I don't think I would want to do it without you all.